Welcome to another week of the over-under spreads. We're well into fall now, well into week 5 of the NFL. We had some great games last week, Mike. And what would be your favorite cover from last week? I know we got a few right, we got a few very wrong. We'll discuss that in a bit. But what was your pick from last week?
I think my favorite from last week would probably have to be the Niners beating up on the Rams at home, because I think I believe from memory the Rams were favored in that game.
Yeah, they were marginal favorites, but yeah,
it wasn't a big
one and a
spread.
half.
It wasn't a big spread, but it was just so comprehensively covered, and I was quite confident in it. So. That pleased me the most. We were talking the other day about how much we enjoy that 49ers offense and that team, especially with Jimmy G at quarterback. They're quite gritty. So it was that was quite a fun result. How about you? What was your favorite one?
Causing the Rams to make some open field tackles, which is always fun.
Jalen Ramsey, a highlight missed tackle on that Deebo Samuel touchdown. That was embarrassing.
That was excellent. Yeah. Yes. Well, actually, last week, so you picked 9 of them last week, which is a good week, which brought you to 57% on the year. So churny little profit there. I picked 8, so I'm stuck at 50%, sadly, in the red. But yeah, it wasn't a bad week last week. I think my favorite had to be my Eagles pick to cover. We were a bit torn about whether the Jags could go on the road, and it looked like for a long time they were going to cover those 6.5 points. But then the Eagles just too much, as they've been too much for anyone they've faced this year. So looking back, I think that was a safe option and a good option.
Yeah, I think the bad weather came to the Eagles' rescue there. I think the Eagles have got an incredibly strong running game that they can just totally lean on in conditions like that. And it didn't really look like the Jags could. Once Trevor Lawrence was kind of neutralized by the weather, they didn't look anywhere near as potent on offense. It just brought the Eagles back into the game. 5 turnovers as well from the Jags, been unlike them this year. So yeah, no, it was a really good call by you. I didn't think the Eagles would win by that much, but obviously I'm not disappointed to see it.
No. Well, that's what you get for not backing your own team. A nice convincing win. So not too bad.
Oh, another enjoyable one as well, I would have to say, just very, very quickly, is Chiefs absolutely doing the Bucks. We both called that comfortably. We knew that was going to. That was a blowout, not close. So Brady's gonna hope this divorce gets him right, gets his head back in the right space, and start winning some games.
Yeah, definitely. And what about the worst one? I think we're both agreed the worst one for last week was us taking the Packers as the 9.5 point favorites there against the Patriots. We should have known old Bill would have had something prepared for Rodgers.
Yeah. The 4th round pick, Jack Jones, playing cornerback, a rookie. Bill's got him coached up, forced a fumble, pick 6 from him. He looks so talented. I just don't know what we were thinking. I think I talked us both into it, so that one's probably on me.
Bailey Zappi looked good coming at quarterback. Definitely an upgrade from Brian Hoyer.
I don't think Brian Hoyer finishes the year on this football team. Bailey Zappi, even if Bailey Zappi doesn't come back next year, he's still going to be better in the short term while Mac Jones is injured than Brian Hoyer. So very odd they went with Hoyer in the first place after what Zappi showed he had.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. So you've got 5 on me in the overall standings there, 57%. I'm lagging behind, so hopefully a good week from me here, a little get right week for me here, and let's whiz through these week spreads then, Mike. There's interesting ones, some potential reactions, some overreactions to what happened last week maybe, and some big spreads as well. So looking forward to this.
As you can see on the screen here, I was just having a look at Daniel Jones before we got going here today, just trying to find out.
Quite a meek stat line there. Nothing too threatening. Just 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
I was just trying to figure out if he was going to be healthy this week or not, because he's all banged up as per usual. But who knows? Right. So Colts at Broncos in actually the first of these primetime games this year. I think that's been just really underwhelming, and I'm not that interested in watching it, to be honest.
Yeah, God. Well, I mean, they've given the Broncos another primetime game, which I'm just getting tired of already. The AFC West getting quite a lot of these primetime games, which looks like a bad move now because there's some bad football being played in the AFC West. God, I mean, I was thinking I'm not going to put any money on this at all. I wouldn't know where to go. This has like a 12-all overtime game written all over it, just a scrappy game of field goal.
Like kissing your sister.
Yeah, exactly. Only half a win, God forbid. So I don't know, but these Thursday night games have seen these favourites cover all year. So I'm just going to go on the trend here on the graph. Look at my analytics and say the Broncos as favourites cover 3 points.
The Broncos. You're saying the Broncos win by more than a field goal?
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, the stat that stood out to me as soon as we opened this page is this here: the points per game, 32nd plays 30th.
Yeah.
I mean, God Almighty.
I can see the Colts winning.
Yeah, I can see the Colts winning. I just think on this occasion, I think the Broncos are just about going to get it done. It's kind of what you were talking about last week. They lost last week, the Broncos, but I don't think they're a under 500 team, whereas I think the Colts are, and the Colts are who thought they were. So I'm reluctantly going to go Denver, but yeah, I'm with you. I don't feel good about it. I wouldn't touch it with my own money, but yeah, that's kind of where we are. And I think we should just move on from that one because it's a bit of a naff game, isn't it?
Yeah, thoroughly unenjoyable for the neutral.
Mediocre game, that is. Right. Well, I think this one has some interest for me, actually, because the Giants are a kind of a fun surprise this year. I think they'll end up slipping below 500 when it's all said and done, but at least they've come out and shown something.
Yeah.
It's probably we should probably alternate, and I should probably pick first this time. So what do I think about this? Well, obviously the thing that jumps off the page is an 8-point spread. With Green Bay not putting up points yet. Rodgers doesn't really know who. I mean, obviously Romeo Doubs has played okay. Oh no, it's not. He's Dobbs. Sorry, even though it's spelt Doubs, as you can see here, it's pronounced Dobbs inexplicably. I don't think the Packers are going to score enough points to make it as one-sided as the experts think here. I don't think. I think Saquon looks good. Daniel Jones is not looked good, but he's hurt the team a lot less than in years past. So, and the defense has kind of been a bit feisty. They allow a lot. They still allow a lot of yards, but I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is in a place with this offense yet to exploit them. So I'm going to say Giants cover here.
Yeah, I agree with that for pretty much everything you said. I like a running game to travel, and it should travel. Saquon's looked like the best back in the NFL coming back from injury. So as long as they keep that going, no stupid turnovers, this is a comfortable cover, I think. Points.
And Green Bay have allowed some yards on the ground as well. So I think very logical to say the Giants cover there. We'll obviously see if that pans out in reality. So we're both pretty happy on that one. I was lucky I got to pick first on that one. That was quite straightforward. Mama Gargantuan spread here.
Whoa, we got a big one. This is tough. I'm honestly going to go Buffalo on this to cover 14.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Oh, I don't know actually. thinking Buffalo. I don't know. Usually, the steadfast rule is if you're going to get 14 points in the NFL, you take the points. But I don't know. I can't trust the Steelers. I think the Bills have been in a bit of a slumber the past few weeks, and they might come out firing here now they're back home in front of that home crowd. The
It's a good point.
defense, Steelers probably won't score many points on the defense. I mean, Kenny Pickett's certainly an upgrade. It's another one where it's tough. I feel comfy taking the Steelers, but equally comfy taking the Bills. So I'm just going to go for the Bills.
Interesting. Big cover for Thomas.
That's a huge one. That might be the biggest spread we'll see all year.
Yeah, it's a huge one. I think I'm going to go for the Steelers. I think Kenny Pickett will get something going. I think I heard the commentator making this point on the game the Steelers were playing last weekend, that it does remind me a little bit of the Baker Mayfield situation in Cleveland, where he came in for Tyrod Taylor and immediately they started playing not lights out on offense, but they started looking like an NFL offense from not resembling one before that. I think Pickett could potentially have a similar effect, and this concerns me with the Bills. Their leading rusher once again is Josh Allen. I think the Steelers defense is middle of the pack here in points per game, but at the same time they're not an awful unit, and I think you've got to be more balanced to beat the Steelers heavily. So I'm going to say the Steelers cover, but I can understand where you're coming from though.
Yeah, it's pretty safe taking the 14 there, but yeah, as I said, I think the Bills, this is a get right game for them.
Safe as houses, Tom. Safe as houses. The Seahawks at Saints.
Who picked this one?
The reverse fixture of the epic earthquake game from the start of the Pete Carroll era in Seattle. Geno Smith looking nothing short of the best quarterback in football right now, Tom.
And he's still writing back.
No, he's not writing anybody back. He's writing checks, I imagine. He's probably getting plenty of bonus checks for all these big yardage games he's putting up. I'm gonna go Seahawks. I don't like the Saints. I don't like the Saints to put up enough points against the Seahawks, quite honestly. Seahawks defense is pretty much the worst in the league, along with the Lions. But they're also the most potent offense in the NFL right now, the Seahawks, in efficiency, in expected points added per drive, which is a ridiculous stat when you consider, the personnel they've got on that, what we all would have assumed at the start of the year. New Orleans is a tough place to go. It's a long way for the Seahawks to go. So I think I am taking a bit of a risk here, but I don't think there's anything about the Andy Dalton-led Saints that would make me believe they're a 5.5 point favorite in this game. So yeah, give me the Hawks.
Yeah, I'll trust Seattle to cover as well. I've had a dabble at a few Seahawks spreads this year. Got burned. Well, we both got burned on the Niners game, but I'm willing to write that off as an anomaly, to be honest.
I think that was very evident last week. You felt burned by that Niners result. You felt you wouldn't take them last week against the Lions, and I can understand why. They're very unpredictable. But
yeah, they are. Again, though, very good ground game. Rashawn Penny absolutely getting off on people these days, so that's good. He was always a bit flop for me as a first round playing well now.
Yeah, I think people forget Geno Smith used to run a bit of QB draw back in his West Virginia days. Like he's not immobile, so they're kind of using his legs a little bit as well, which is interesting. They're a really fun offense to watch at the moment, the Seahawks.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take him to cover. Go on.
Yeah. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I am hoping the Saints lose every week because we have their first round pick for next year, which at the moment is slated to be 4 overall, which would be very enjoyable. Right. Miami Dolphins on the road to the New York Jets. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Oh, the Teddy Bridgewater-led Dolphins. Oof. Still can't really trust the Jets. Still feel like I trust the Dolphins more.
Zach Wilson showed something last week in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he did show something. I think it's more just a personal. I just really don't like him. So
okay, it's fair.
I'm going to base it on that, and I'm just never convinced by him. I'd like to see him have 2 good games in a row. So I don't think he can. Go on then. The Dolphins cover 3, even with Bridgewater. I think their defense shows up, and the Jets turn the ball over about 3 or 4 times here, give them some short fields, and they can walk off with a few scores handed to them here.
I think I agree with everything you said. Yeah, I like that. Again, it's another sort of gut feel game as well. I don't think the Jets. I still don't think the Jets are a very good football team yet, and they're 2-2. I just think the Dolphins will take this one on the road. Just knock the Jets back down again. They're sort of 1 step forward, 2 step back to the Jets, aren't they? So this will be one of their characteristics step back, I believe, after a step forward.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the moment, I've got Matt Rule being the first to be fired, but I think the Jets coach is not too far behind.
Yeah, so, yeah, I feel like the Jets. He's got to be up there just because of New York and the fan base and stuff. I do agree with you. I still think Matt Rule will be first to go. You were saying there's no odds on Matt Rule?
No, sadly, I couldn't find any in the UK, at least. Anyway, you'd probably get a Vegas bookie to do you a deal, but I imagine Rule's pretty short right now. Anyway, the rule is not too long on that one, so to speak.
No, it's not. All right, well, we digress. We're both pretty comfy on the Jets, so that's not a great game either, is it? So we'll move on. Talk about not a great game. Titans at Commanders. Well, I won't be tuned into this one, I don't think, and I don't think Red Zone will be either.
No.
So you don't go broke taking a profit, and backing against the Commanders this year has been very profitable for me. So give me the Titans simply because of that. I don't think the Commanders have let me down once this year.
No, I haven't. They have let me down, unfortunately. I've done a big U-turn on them. I thought they'd be frisky enough to cover some of these spreads, but they're just not. They look a bit beleaguered. Again, we have a good running game carrying, hopefully, Tennessee to an away win. The only surprise here is that it's not a bigger spread, really.
I mean, I think so. Titans' offensive line is terrible, and Commanders' defensive line is full of first-round picks, but not really playing up to their potential, though. Last couple of years, under Big Ron Rivera, they were playing better before he took over. So, very odd situation there. I thought Riverboat might get them turned around, at least on defense, but they look if you look at that, 29th in points against per game. I mean, geez. All right, pretty comfy then on both sides. I've had a couple of easy ones this week, so I'll give you an absolute toilet bowl game. Bears at Vikings with a huge spread. Have at it, Tom. What do you want to do?
I've got to go Vikings on this one. At home. I was a bit worried looking at this, so the travel back from London might not be the best thing for the Vikings this week. So it's another one where I could see the Bears covering, but the Bears don't look good at all. And they've lost Montgomery now as well. So
is he out now? Is he badly injured?
For a few weeks, but I think he's week to week, to be honest. But it's a big loss because he was really the focal point of that. The backup's a good player, but not in that level. So I struggle to see how they can keep this tight unless Kirk Cousins makes a few errors. But it's a comfy 1 p.m. home game here in Minnesota. I mean, this has got a nice Vikings 10-point win written all over it, I think.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
Mm.
No, I'm respectfully going to disagree. I don't think the Vikings have shown me anything this year. They got
Yep.
blown out by the Eagles. Obviously, you heard earlier what I think about the Saints, and they barely beat them in London with a double doink, which we probably should have covered as it was a London-based game. So I think the Bears will just hang around and maybe only lose by 3 to 6 points. Just keep it close, and I'm just banking on that really, that the Vikings will make errors on offense, and they're just not that good on defense really. I think the Bears might be able to put up some rushing yards and get some points. Yeah, give me the Bears.
Yeah, it's a divisional game, so you've got to feel quite comfy taking 7.5 there for the underdogs.
Yeah. Well, I do for now, but we'll see how it pans out. This is actually going to be quite a fun game, this next one for me, because I mean, even though they're 0-3-1, the Texans, I feel like they're a better football team than that. Davis Mills has come back to earth for sure. That's looking like a one-season wonder, I think. But I don't know. I like both of these teams, to be honest. Texans, what have they done for us this year? They've been a bit hit or miss, the Texans, haven't they? I think we've got too much. We've got too much faith.
They cover against the Chargers last week, and that ended up being a bit of a double-digit win for the Chargers, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is getting a bit worrying. They were covering to start the year, and we were riding them to some covers.
That's the thing, yeah.
Now there's 2 in a row where they've let us down. I think that's starting to look like a trend.
It could be snowballing. Yeah.
I mean, this could be snowballing on Lovie Smith, the head coach. He really needs a win here. I think it's a get-right game for the Jags. I think they'll win it. Are they going to win it by more than 7, though? That's what you're asking me. I am going to say they do. Yes, I'm going to say they do. I think the Jags could win by 10 to 14 points here. So give me the Jags on a big cover. My first risk of the.
Yeah, it's a risk. The AFC South has seen all covers for the underdogs all year so far in these divisional games. So I have to ride that. I don't think it's going to be anything different. It's probably, I mean, certainly this year, and maybe even historically, we'd have to look, but one of the closest divisions for these games. I mean, all these games seem to be 3-point games. So I just for that reason, I'm comfortable taking the Texans. But I think it's a Jags win, but 7 points are covered by the Texans here. This seems like a fixture that they'll split wins this year. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Disagreeing on a lot this week, Tom. It's going to be one of us is going to be.
Well, I see myself a little down in the standings, so I've got to spice it up a little bit. Taking a Bills 14 points win.
I can already see you fidgeting in your seat, thinking back to that Bills cover. I'm not going to let you change it now, though, Tom. You're in for the long haul.
Yeah, well, I'm prepared.
Right.
Ooh.
Browns, Chargers. What are you saying? Sorry.
No, I'll go first on this one.
Didn't you just go first? Or did I go?
No, you went.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I apologize. You're.
The Chargers cover this one just because it's less than a field goal. It may well be a field goal game, and if it is, then I'd rather have the team that's minus 2.5. That's plus 2.5. I mean, that's really the only reasoning here. It's going to be a close game, I'm sure. I think it'll be error filled. But the Browns with a shocking loss to the Falcons. I mean, that's gonna. I just really don't believe that much in the Browns here at the moment. They haven't shown me anything. So yeah, just give me the Chargers to take this by a field goal.
Okay. I'm going to take the Browns here, I think. Home dog. coming off a bad loss on the road that we both comfortably expected them to cover. Well, it was only a 1-point spread, so but we did think they would win that against the Falcons last week. I think Cleveland, what's kind of lost in that defeat was they were driving down to kick a field goal, and there was some very odd play calling and just a bit of a flap by Brissett at the end there. I think on another day they could have won that game last week. They're a very efficient offense this year. The Browns, the best rush efficiency in the league, and not about middling in pass efficiency, but they're very good offensively. Defense hasn't played well, but they will have Myles Garrett back this week, I think, missing last week in the car crash fallout. So and the Chargers are still beaten to shit. They've got a rookie starting at left tackle. I feel like they're going to put Garrett on him all day. Give me the Browns with Herbert's ribs getting a testing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't think they'd be that good against the Texans, but they did show up in that game and just blew the doors off. So
yeah, Texans do not have the D-line talent that the Browns have, though. The Browns are built well in the trenches, which the Chargers, with Bosa injured and Rashawn Slater injured, I think they're undermanned on both sides in the trenches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that suits the Browns, the way they're going to play.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, play calling has been an issue for the Browns. They need to sort that out if they're going to start covering some of these games. It's not filling me with confidence.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
This could be a good game, though. This could be a sneaky good game.
No, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm a bit annoyed it wasn't flexed into the later window, because we've just got 3 games in the late window, and none of them, apart from obviously the Eagles game. I'm just going to watch the Eagles game in full, but we'll get to that in a second. We do just have just over 10 minutes left here, Tom, so we're going to have to start rattling through some of these. Falcons at Buccaneers. Oh, here we go. There you go. Zoom telling me. Falcons at Buccaneers. Oof. Cordero Patterson's gone on IR now, I think, which doesn't fill me full of confidence for the Falcons offense, although they have been incredibly efficient this year, moving the ball.
Going with some of those other guys last week as well in the back.
Yeah, they did. Bizarre use of resources for Kyle Pitts. They barely targeted him this year, despite using a top 10 pick on him last year. So very, very odd. I'm going to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, though, is by far the best defense the Falcons will have faced this year. And I'm going to say that the Bucks lay the wood here. Brady comes out angry and they win by 14 points. Cover.
Yeah, makes sense. That it's a solid logic. I just think it's a divisional game, and 9 points is too much in a divisional game. The Falcons, I mean, I looked at this and thought, does someone know something we don't? I mean, the Falcons coming off a few wins here, and the Buccaneers off an awful loss. I was surprised at this, to be honest. I thought this might be a 5 or 6 point game, but no, it's just too many points there, and I can't pass it up. So I'll gobble up the Falcons here.
Gobble them up. Okay, so we are then on to the Lions at New England. Wow, this could get ugly for the Patriots. Oh, hang on a minute. The Patriots are a 3.5 point favorite. Over to you, Tom.
Yeah, you'd have to. I don't know. The Lions going into Foxborough with the amount of mistakes they're prone to make. I think the coaching. If I was going to go on the coaching here, I'd have to take New England. The unfortunate loss last week for New England, also for Detroit, but I just can't back the Lions. Go on, I'll take the Patriots -3. I don't feel great though doing it.
No, neither do I. The Lions have covered for me a few times this year, but I think I agree with you on the road with what has to be the worst defense in football, the Lions. That's going to keep the Patriots in it, and Bill will have something up his sleeve for Jared Goff, just like he did in the Super Bowl a few years ago. So yeah, I agree. Go on then. Let's both go Patriots. Right.
Doesn't feel good.
No. I could easily see it all going wrong for Bailey Zappi and the Lions smashing them. Right. God, another big one. Niners on the road to the Panthers. I mean, I think the wheels. What's that? Sorry.
You stick or twist here on the Niners. You rode them last week.
I know. It was a much smaller spread though.
Yeah. Well, the Panthers are a terrible team.
I think the wheels are coming off this thing in Carolina.
Yeah.
They're terrible, to be honest.
Yeah, they are.
I just always feel like the Niners come on the road in these games on the East Coast and just sort of flatter to deceive a bit, though. At least it's 9:00. At least it's an afternoon, a later kickoff. So that might be better for their body clocks coming cross country. Jesus wept. I don't know. Just give me the Niners. I'll just back them again. The Panthers are awful.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I mean, just on form, you have to take the Niners here. It's not one I'd feel comfy actually putting money on, but and I will steer clear of it this week. But I think it's a touchdown win, so that's all I need really. -6.5 gone.
If you wanted to extend the spread, I think the Panthers will cover 10.
Yeah. You could take it as a double, maybe, or something.
Yeah,
else.
double, extend it and double it up with something else. But that's the only way I'd go near it. Okay. Dallas at the Rams.
Well, I mean, Cooper Rush, I almost forgot his name there, is 4-0 now as a starter. And they're 5.5-point underdogs. So give me Dallas here. All the stars seem to be lining up for Dallas here. The defense is playing lights out football, and the Rams have really looked underwhelming. I mean, it's safe to say they won't be winning. They won't be going back to back. They look at a shadow of the team they were. I think 5.5 is enough here for me to go in on the underdog, even though it's an away game for them. It's not really the worst place to go, Los Angeles, as we discussed before. So go on, Cowboys.
Oh, I think there'll be more Cowboys fans there than Rams fans for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, as always, I'm going to bang on about the lines of scrimmage. Cowboys D-line will absolutely dominate against the Rams O-line is my prediction here. I mean, they've had 4 different left guards already this season, the Rams. Troy Aikman was saying on Monday Night Football, he was telling us about it. So, yeah, I think that, and obviously I don't think the Rams defense necessarily set up to stop the run. They're normally much better to stop the pass, which will play Dallas's hands. So, yeah, give me the Cowboys to cover.
Yeah, 100% makes sense.
Right. Eagles at Cardinals. Ooh, Eagles going cross country.
Do you think about?
Are you going first here, Tom?
No, I went first last time, I think.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there was a bit of a delay there on the call for me, so I didn't know what was happening. I'm gonna say that the Eagles win by a touchdown. Give me the Eagles, just based on the fact that just they're a much better football team, but I think this could be close because the Cardinals will spread it out and throw it, which doesn't necessarily suit the Eagles' banged up secondary, but just give me the Eagles here.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, since the week 1 game against Detroit, the Eagles have covered all these spreads they've been favorites in. So it's 3 covers in a row as favorites. And I think that trend continues here. I don't think it's enough points. So go on, Eagles.
Okay. 2 minutes left to talk about Monday Night Football.
No, this is the Sunday night game.
Oh, Sunday night game.
AFC West encounter on Monday night.
It always
yeah, I mean, let's not labour too long on this one because I'm looking forward to the Monday night game a bit more. So let's go on then. I'll take the frisky Bengals are looking good. I think they'll get the cover here, 3 points.
Agree. The Bengals look better. The Ravens need to learn how to win a game in the fourth quarter. My word.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Baltimore bounce back from a very promising performance for most of the game against the Bills and come back here and get a morale boosting home win.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if it will let me get to it, here we go. Tom, I think, has something up his sleeve here because he's very keen to get onto this spread. So I'll let you have at it. Go on.
Well, it's a really tough one actually. It was one I was debating a lot looking at it. I never like having to do that because I usually get those wrong. So
less than a minute, Tom. Very quickly.
I'll have to take the Raiders to cover 7 here, just because just knowing this fixture historically, the Chiefs rarely beat the Raiders by more than a field goal. They're always close games. And Mahomes sometimes struggles against them. So even if it's at Arrowhead, it's not. Yeah, go on. I'll just take the Raiders. Over to you.
Yeah, agreed. AFC West tight game, I think, historically. So yeah, I'll go for that too. We'll wrap it up there, Tom. We're about to get cut off. So yeah, everybody enjoy the games, and we'll speak next week.
Yeah. Adios.
Adios.